Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. MLB Roundtable show tonight. We rocking out my man, Mr. A. The set 6145. Got some great hosts coming up, some guests coming through. We're ready to do this MLB Roundtable, folks. Hope you could join us tonight. Have some fun. Talk about certain things that happened last night. You good, Mr. A? What's going on?
Ooh, I feel a sense of bitterness, man, because Yankees got bumped. We wanted to see them out there. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
but it's all good.
We'll talk about it. But we'll hit those points later.
For sure.
We got some former MLB players coming on. Our brother Luis Lopez, Frank Rodriguez. And we got some other things lined up. Hopefully they come through. If not, this is a quick one. Just a tip, maybe, right?
Ooh. Yeah, just a tip for now.
So we give them a little taste of it. Pause.
For sure.
But we're gonna have a quick Q&A with the fellas, and then we'll do some predictions for the playoffs. And let's rock out. Anything going on, Mr. You want to talk about?
I think all the shit that went on. I mean, I don't want to sidestep from the sports because tonight's a different animal.
All right, cool.
So we're gonna stick with that, but we'll touch on things the next time around.
We'll touch on that again. Check the camera, son. What's up? How am I looking?
This guy's looking sharp.
All right, cool. Let's go. So let's run this track, man. Let's bring the fellas in.
All right. Let me run this track, baby.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host with my co-host, Mr. A, over there.
There you go.
Sally Sassong in the building. This is the set 6145. We thank you for coming through. Mr. A gave me the helm today. Let me try to man the ship, and let's see what we do, baby. Let's get busy.
Primero. So
volume is low.
Your volume is low?
Yeah, I can hardly hear you.
You got to turn it up on the box.
Sounds low.
You good?
Got you.
All right, cool. Who we bringing in first?
So let's bring in, played many years MLB, played up in Canada, played in Puerto Rico, friend to the show, and had his birthday yesterday, Mr. Luis Lopez.
Happy birthday. Oh, belated birthday, sir.
Or 2 days ago.
2 days ago. It doesn't matter. Happy birthday,
Thanks
brother.
for having me.
What's up, Lou? Thanks for coming back, brother.
It.
Of course.
And our next guest, Mr. Cocotazo. Y'all already know who he is. Handle his business. Played for Seattle, drafted by Boston. The original Ohtani that I know, Mr. Frank Rodriguez.
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
It's good.
Yo.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks for coming through.
Always.
So, fellas, man, we appreciate your time. We're going to run this quick. We know the Dodgers-Cardinals game's coming up. So, we're going to have a little quick Q&A, and then we'll go into some predictions and talk some Yankees, Mets, or whatever y'all want to do. So, on the set, we talk a lot about, modern things that are going on, vaccines, past, etc. So, how would you guys feel if you were playing right now and you had to get this vax, like mandated?
There's a lot of different beliefs, but for me personally, like, the science behind it is the science. I mean, there's so many ways to go through it, but I'm going to do whatever I can to protect my family and those I come in contact with. So, but I get everybody's, opinion. So I did it. I'm vaccinated. My wife's vaccinated. When my kids get the opportunity to, they'll be vaccinated as well.
How about you, Louis?
100% same here, man. Especially with the livelihood that we have between myself and my wife, we're around a lot of people, a lot of kids and stuff like that. God forbid if we weren't vaccinated, end up bringing back to the house. I got my father-in-law living with me, and that's been attacking a lot of the older folks too. And we got him vaccinated as well. So it's all up to the person, but I really think, just like Frank said, the science is behind it. I was all in to get it.
Mr. A.
I mean, listen, I'm no scientist. I'm not even a virologist. I'm just of the mindset that I'm not trusting of the people that control this country and who make the decisions, because as we all know, they are the nefarious types. So with that said, I guess I'll reserve comment. I'm glad I'm not, putting anybody in danger or, putting myself or my family in danger, but I just want everybody to be safe.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Like the mandations of it, like to me, kind of like you got to draw the line somewhere. But I'm sure when people, like you said, you affect your grandparents or somebody, and then the passing, you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I did it. I'm vaccinated. People that don't know the situation, like I said, my son has cerebral palsy, and I got it done. I was like, I can't have that on my head, God forbid. So I totally, understand. So my next Q&A, we're gonna go in, like I said, rapid fire here. Analytics. Do we feel they're taking jobs away, especially from minorities? Like, do we feel like it should be on the field stuff that should be done more instead of computer geeks handling this business?
You can start that
Frank,
one,
I'll
Luke.
let you start that off, man.
They're passing the buck.
Damn it.
Passing the buck.
Listen, I'm an old head. I'm an old head, and I believe on hands-on training. I believe in paying attention to the game, and I believe on, if you're actually paying attention to the game, analytics will take care of themselves, because that's the obvious when you're watching. The disclaimer with analytics, like we were talking earlier before we came on, the disclaimer with that a lot of analytical people say is, well, it's this, and when the sun is out, it's this, and against this pitcher is this, but then come playoffs, oh no, the numbers don't matter. Like, it's you make the decisions. Right. It's all about feeling. So if it was all about feeling and analytics weren't really as important in the playoffs, so what about when they chose to use the analytical side of everything that cost them 2 or 3 games, that got them that wild card or possibly winning their division? So where it's at, I mean, it's useful, no doubt. Taking jobs from the minorities, I don't know if minorities can step up and do that, then the job should be there available for them. But at that point, it's where's your mindset? How strong is your mind to be able to do it and possibly go out for the job? So, taking jobs.
Yeah. It seems like they keep pushing. Go ahead, Lou. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because I think us as minorities, I don't think we shoot. We don't really shoot for that type of job. Like when we're growing up as kids, our parents have us more on hand-on type stuff, as far as instead of going with the computer things and pushing to go to a Harvard or a Yale. Why can't we? We're always talking about just go to college, just a regular college. Why? Why can't we be in them Ivy League schools? I think it starts with that, with the dreams first as a kid, and then eventually we will get there. Because I know there's a few guys that are involved in the office on the front side, and they've graduated from Brown University and stuff like that. But they also were told that at a younger age, while we were told, okay, yo, we want you to be a major league player. And I think that's a lot of the with our Latinos and blacks. We shoot for the stars like the way that white folks tell their kids. they push them. They tell them, well, you can be this, you can be a doctor, you can be that. But we're always looking for the lower tier stuff for the quick dollar. And I just think it's a different mindset that our family and everybody still with our kids. Like my kids too, I tell them all the time. I go, I want you to shoot to be whatever you can be. You can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, whatever you want. You ain't got to play sports. All you got to do is handle your business, which in the classroom, and you're going to respect. That's it. For my own kids, that. So I just think it starts with that. We're so used to being happy, being just on the field. And that's where all the minorities are usually on the field instead of in the office.
Right. Go ahead, Mr. A. I see you.
No. The gentlemen are bringing years. Everybody should know that's watching the show. The gentlemen are bringing years of experience, and I'm not just talking their time in the major leagues. I'm talking about their life, right? So really pay attention and absorb what they're saying. First of all, second of all, as Louis alluded to, we condition our children to be players or be, on the lower tier of organizations, when in fact we should be aiming to be the managers, the executives. And it's not like we're not capable. Our children are just as smart, right? If we can physically do it, we can mentally do it, because it's the biggest part of being physical. It's all up here, right? Further with analytics, I'm not really the sports guy here, but my basic understanding regarding analytics is this. There's things that you can measure for during the regular season because it's the regular season. Postseason comes, things change. You have rivalries. You have people, I'm going to get this mother effer. Like, there's a lot more emotion that comes into it, coupled with the physicality of the game, right? And people aiming to be the hero or to bring their highest level of play during the playoffs. You can't measure that with analytics. So I don't think it's a good thing. I think that should be taken out of the game. And lastly, as far as taking away jobs, to put a bow on this, if we don't teach our children that mindset of you don't have to be the guy in the mound, you can be the guy up in the box with the binoculars saying, all right, we're going to change our defense, or, I noticed this guy's limping, let's take it to him, or whatever. They're never going to think big. They're never going to think bigger than, outside of what they immediately know. So I think as parents, we should definitely try to ingrain and instill that in our kids always.
I think analytics are important. We need data, right? We need numbers. We want to always, we would like to know, right, what should happen. However, we do analytics for the show, right? So you want certain data, but it's not the end all be all, especially in sports. It has to be guts and, stomach, my gut's telling me this and I'm going to try it. And if it don't work, it don't work, but I could go home and sleep good at night and not think about, damn, I should have did this, So, that's all I have to say about that. My next question, in today's MLB, you guys both came from two different spectrums, right? Like Frankie, you were pretty high draft. Louis, you busted your ass to get to the pros. Not to say, Frankie, you didn't, but, because I know you both did. I'm just saying as far as like draft capital, right? Can both of you guys make it in today's MLB? Are kids like making it still the way, like Louis? This is more directed towards you, like you grinded this and that. You wasn't really, Frankie was like, fuck that. I'm going to Howard. I'm going to show y'all. And, so Lou, I want you to start this question off for me.
Okay. As far as the grinding out, can it be done for this nowadays? I think yes. It is. They're coming back to looking for the baseball players now. The actual baseball players, the high IQ guys that can put the ball in play. All that stuff about launch angle is eventually going to fade away. Finally, they touched on it this year already that they were happy about it. I heard it the other day on MLB that finally we had more hits than strikeouts in our game this year. So it changed from last year. So that fad is going to continue to change because you have to put the ball in play. Look at all the teams that are in the playoffs right now. Them guys put the ball in play. They put the ball in play. They play defense. They catch the ball. They throw strikes, but they don't strike out. They put it in play. And that was the perfect example yesterday. You look at what happened. Yankees didn't put the ball in play. Also, they're pitching with a bunch of walks, about 8 walks. You're talking about to Boston to 0 walks. You know what I'm saying? And they were grinding their at bats out. So I think now, eventually, it doesn't matter. The undrafted guy still will have a chance to get. Obviously, with the draft being less rounds, it's going to be tougher. There's less minor league teams. So what does that mean? I think they're trying to route the kids more to go to college, because the college ball now is going to be like the minor leagues, since they eliminated a whole bunch of minor league teams.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big point. And I think, like, for me, like, if I was grinding it out right now to make it to the major leagues, I think I would make it for this sole reason. And it was just a desire that most people don't have. It's a dream. It's a desire to some, but that need to feed your family, that need to get your mom out the projects is always going to be the mindset when my growing up. So it would be the same grind. And as far as like what Louis was saying, it's absolutely true, because I'm at Division II Mercy College right now in Dobbs Ferry. And one of our main things over there is putting the damn ball in play. There's so many factors when you put the ball in play. Like Louis said, you grinding at bats. You put the ball in play or keep fouling balls off. That brings that pitcher's pitch count up. And what's every coach and manager like paying attention to? Pitch count. Like they don't take into account that the guys might have fouled off 20 pitches. So those are not balls put in play. So that's a grind. So and on the hitting side, at Mercy, man, I think the mindset is just putting that ball in play, looking for some gaps. And if you get one to hit out, then you're going to take that swing. But it's all about paying attention to your moment and when it comes.
Right. I think it goes back into like the analytics part of it, right? To me, it's not the end of be all. We have to be all around. You have to be able to make contact to hit the ball out of the park, right? I mean, you can't hit the ball at the park if you're not making contact. Guys are hitting below 200 and they hit a home run every 3 weeks. I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? I want to see you hit the ball and maybe hit somebody in the chest. They can't make a play on you. So I definitely I feel that same way with you guys.
Can I add something to this?
Sure.
As the non sports guy, what I'm going to tell you guys, and this should ring true, the difference in play. If you look at when you guys were coming up and when you guys were like, and not to turn the knife, in your prime, right? The difference between what you see in a game then to what you see in a game now is the dirty uniform. Guys they're too fucking clean out there.
Torres.
Is it me? No, I don't think it is. Guys are too clean. And part of the reason is because nobody's putting the ball in play. That's not the focus. Everything wants to be, they want home run derbies. That doesn't win games. It doesn't win chips. It doesn't win anything. You got to put the ball on the ground. And that's something I've always heard growing up, like being around Selly, watching my cousin play because he, played, local ball, or listening to my uncle yell at the TV when the Yankees were playing, when they had Winfield and Mattingly. Put the fucking ball on the ground. Put it in play. And that is the difference between then and how people play now. They're not doing that, and it sucks because the game's not exciting.
I made a post the other day about the Gio Urshela play, like him going in the dugout, like he's wanting it. Like, when we bring up the Yankees, I was going to bring up later, but like you said, Louis brought them up now about what they didn't do yesterday. You know what pissed me off yesterday? When Stan hit the first shot and he got a single, like he was like pimping it. As a manager, like Boone, this part of the problem with him, like, bro, you grab him and be like, yo, this is the playoff, bro. Bust your ass. If you ain't busting your ass today, when you gonna do it? I mean, I understand he's been doing work, Stan. I'm not trying to knock him, but to me, you that set the tone. Like first inning, you thought you hit it out and you're pimping it to first base, a single? Nah, bro, unacceptable.
I think there's 2 big points that I actually teach when I train kids and when I'm coaching. 2 big points that you see in the major leagues, and it's like, why aren't they doing it? Is your pitch selection swinging at balls in the dirt, swinging at pitches high, and your situational hitting. Those are the two things that have to be at the top of everybody's list, and it's just not done in the major leagues because the money and they want to see home runs. So, until we get to that point where we played in our era, Louis, was like you struck out in those big situations, like you weren't playing the next game or you were sitting down. That's it. Somebody else taking your spot.
Right. So
until we get to that point, and I'll touch on this before you can get it, Sally. I hope I'm not jumping the gun. Like I deep down inside think they should not have started Cole. I think they should have started little mustache man.
That's the Cortez.
Cortez. And if he got in trouble, play your whole bullpen out. And if you needed Cole at the end, you need him. Like that could have set the message right across the bow right there. That's a shot across the bow. Yes, I understand he's the highest paid pitcher. He's got to be in these games, and that's what they got him for. But if we want to talk about analytics being out the window, well, his last 3 or 4 starts weren't good.
And his career starts in Fenway. He's like 1-5 with a 6-something already.
0-3 in elimination games too.
Supposedly there was a hamstring issue. So again, I don't know if that's coming from him or whoever. But if you took that rock, my man, you got to dominate. We gave you that bread.
Sally,
you got to dominate.
That's right,
Sally. If you're throwing 99 still with a hamstring issue, there's no hamstring issue.
Right, exactly.
you dramatically cut, especially as a pitcher. Your velo is going.
And I mentioned this yesterday too, and I'm not even joking about it. I think those contracts need to be revised because after the sticky stuff situation, all these guys were muerto. Cole, Chapman, Urias, plenty of guys, and they got money that they, those contracts should be null and void. Honestly, they should be revisioned and be like, listen, we're gonna go through those contracts again because Cole, we can't have you making that much money and not giving us, in the playoffs. No way.
Louis, how about in Puerto Rico? How is it played? You get money, your salary, and then you get incentive bonus. Like you have 100 hits, you lead the league in hits. I get it. Like that could be manipulated by the office. Like if he needs one more at bat, and it's the last at bats of the season, and he's gonna be awarded $5 million. I could see how that can be, but I miss those days where there was incentives where like you steal 50 bags, you're gonna get $1 million. Like and in Puerto Rico it's like 500 or 1,000. I think if that was to be able to be brought back into baseball and controlled properly, you would see different contracts and you would see different guys playing different ways on the field.
I would have played for free pizza empanadas over there, boys. Hook me up. How those games were crazy, right? Those PR games were crazy.
Yeah.
The vibe.
Yeah.
When we played, now it's like there's no crowds going, but our game was packed.
Every game was a rivalry. Every game was a rivalry against different cities and different towns in Puerto Rico that hated each other or loved each other. It was a rivalry.
That's dope. Frank, I want to ask you a question. So, like I said it in the intro, you were like the original Ohtani to us. You played the field, you hit. Do you feel that Ohtani? I mean, we know he's special, but do you feel like guys like you and other guys before you could have done the same that he did?
I believe I can. I believe I would have. I didn't see many guys like me when I was like coming in or like going from JUCO into Pro Bowl. I didn't see it at all. There was some guys, that you were given the opportunity. Yeah, you pitched. You were given the opportunity like they gave me. And then they were like, well, we want you on the mound. But like being able to like see how you develop in both, I just like it would have been amazing. Baseball would have been different if that was a thing back then. If it would have been really different, but like more power to him. He's doing it on a big stage.
Go ahead, Lou.
I'm a second that still because he's being humble right now. Okay, because that dude, he grew up with us. That dude was unbelievable. The way he played, he was a phenom. Like
absolutely,
we all used to look at him like, "Yo, who is this dude? This is crazy." The way he played
and effortless.
The way he pitched, effortless. You know what I'm saying? Pitching like Mariano, effortless. Boom, 95, 96. And you're like, then he go to short and throw you out from the hole. And then he'll come up and hit a bomb off you. You know, I mean, he was doing everything. So you're like, this dude could have done it either way. He definitely would have been the Ohtani during our time when I was playing in pro ball. I think Frank could have did both, just like the way he did. I for sure, I second that.
And if he really want to get disrespectful, he'll bat lefty on you and head it out.
Listen, I'll say this. The Red Sox, notoriously for not being the best at mixing in color in their organization, whatever. They did, at the end of the day, they did give me the option. Like, what did you want to do? And it was like, you could be in the big leagues in 3 years, or you could be in the big leagues in 6 years. I'm like, my mom in the projects. Yeah, I'm a pitcher now. That's it. It never was the option of being able to do both. But yeah.
I'll tell you right now, any other organization, I think would have gave it to both chances. You know, I'm so surprised there was at least one person within the organization that said, no, hold up. Let's give this boy a chance with both things. One guy? Come on, somebody had to step up.
Well, you got to figure like Red Sox, Yankees, that's old school, not good old boys, but old school thinking, right? You know, that's teams that have been around forever. Where if Frankie was probably like on the Marlins or something like that, where they probably were like, let's get ahead of this, you know what I mean? And, you know, like the Angels did, you know, they got ahead of it. They had Madden there, you know. I mean, they got the like. It's we were talking about this the other day. Mets have the best pitcher with DeGrom, and Trout is with the Angels, but yet they don't see the playoffs. So that's a team effort. Well, baseball's a team sport, you know. Louis, I want to ask you something. Frankie had his, you know, his brawl for it all with certain manager, ex-manager and stuff. Did you ever be in an MLB brawl? Did you guys ever, like any of your teams ever be involved in a fight?
Not in the big leagues, but in the minor leagues a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And then unfortunately, you know, hey, a lot of the times they were throwing at me. So I had to go get somebody, man.
Right.
I don't like what's going on right now. You know, all that talking and everything and pushing. Nah, if you don't like it, go get them. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, drill them.
Right.
You don't like what they're doing. You know, plain and simple. That's just the way I see it. You know, but right now it's just a lot of guys, you know, just get, you know, scared about that stuff, and I don't know, afraid of the you know, to let the kids play. I understand let the kids play, but there's too much going with a borderline. There's still got to be some type of respect. You know, I enjoy it, but certain things I don't. I mean, and it goes to my coaching too. You know, some kids try to do that now, don't ever do that again. You know, because if not, you won't be playing here. You know, cause it's just certain lines that shouldn't be crossed. You know, and but yeah, you know, unfortunately, I had to go a couple times.
That was because we were hungry in the minor leagues, Lou. They didn't feed us.
Yeah. Oh, peanut butter and jelly. That's it.
And then the George Foreman girl came out. We were good, boy. We were good. Oh man.
Can I ask something? You know, these guys, Sully, they you know, they come on the show. I feel real connected to them in the sense of their values, right? So these are guys that work and grind it out and had a mindset. And I think that what I want to ask both of them, I want to start with Louis. Louis, you know, do you think that today's generation, the younger kids that you're mentoring and working with, because you are mentoring them essentially, do you think that they have the right mindset to carry them into the pros?
Oof. Maybe a handful out of all the kids that I've dealt with so far with the organization. But then again, it's a coach's job to try and put that kid on track, to try and show him what he needs to do to guide him. You know, because anybody could take care of the finished product. Anybody could work with that. You know, it's getting those other kids that are good little, you know, ball players, they're on the fringe, and getting them to be on that next level, showing them the proper way, giving them the proper guidance, all that stuff, and just letting them know, hey, it's going to be work. You know, it's going to be work, you know, and that's why I always I hold this chart all the time that I give out to the parents and the players. And they did a poll and they ask the question, to be a good college player, how many hours per week do you think you need to work? So the first one is football, 41 hours. And baseball is number 2, 40 hours. So I told the guys, okay, so let's say we practice Monday through Friday for 2 hours. That's only 10 hours, fellas. Where do you think them other 30 hours are coming? That's behind the scenes. That's your lessons, your strength and conditioning. You going out on the way we used to go and run in the park, even though it was freezing. Layer up clothes. Let's go run around the track. Let's go run some sprints. You know, and everybody's saying, "Oh, mira ese loco ahí corriendo y está nevando." You know what I'm saying?
Putting in work.
But putting in work, you have to. You know, that's one thing that we have to continue to do it. And like I said, you know, a lot of the parents have to get away from. I was talking with a friend of mine. He said the word perfect, and I always use it. That we're coddling our kids too much. We're coddling them too much. We gotta let them fail so that they can get a stronger character, and then they'll be picked up. You're gonna get knocked down. We failed plenty of times. All of us. We're still here. We're still alive.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that's where it comes from.
Where do you think that started? Like, where did that develop? The coddling, you know, like you guys, like, are you teaching your old school style, and then the young kids are like, you old heads, blah blah blah, you know, like, I mean, go ahead, Frank.
I got this one, Sally. I got
Yeah.
this one, Lou. Here's where it is, brother. It's Instagram famous. That's what it is. So you have the parents following all the kids that the kid is following. So now they're like, oh my God, Tom, Joey's friend Mike is in perfect game. We need to put our son in there. Your son is not perfect game quality. He's not there yet. So what happens is now these parents jump from team to team to team, trying to find something that, you know, that their son is not at that level yet. And then it's just that coach did this, that coach didn't do this. And it's not about the kid is not fully developed yet. It's just because he's not put in front of these college coaches, but you're not ready. So like we would do your son a disservice and you guys a disservice, and we're putting him out there and he's not trained enough. So I think that's the mindset right now. All these kids have these platforms and they do well at the, you know, all the different showcases, and the showcases that they go to, they give them a nice little write up, and then the kids post it, and then it's like, yo, you're on your way. But like Louis said, are you really on your way? Because that was just a showcase. What are you doing in the other hours that, you know, nobody's even watching you? That's the mindset now. It's all in Front Street with social media before you actually, your talent is. So the social media is here and your talent level is not even there yet.
Right.
And a lot of kids get burned on it. And then it's always the coach's fault.
You know, we always talk about it too, Frank and I. You know, you're a pitcher and you're throwing 80, and you're talking about going to a camp or a perfect game so for like LSU, Florida State. You know, are you kidding me? 80? I mean, they ain't even gonna look at you, man. You know, we got to try and get you to this benchmark before you even go there. You're not even running under a 7 in the 60, but you're a shortstop or center fielder, and you're trying to go to this school? No. We got to get you there first. So that's why I always tell the parents, let's get them to these certain benchmarks first, even before we go to our first showcase. Don't let them write you off on the first one.
And I do. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Lou, I tell you all the time, yo, I saw a kid, yo, he walked in the parking lot, his dad was carrying his bag, and then his mom gave him Gatorade. Crossed off the list before he even threw a ball, swung the bat, off the list. Why? Because that kid is coming in with baggage. That kid has been coddled so much that he will not know or understand what it is to fail and have nobody there when you fail.
Right. Yeah. I think you know, me and Mr. A always talk about parenting on the show, and you know, it doesn't come with a handbook, right? So we try to do our best, and sometimes parents need to understand they're doing their kids a disservice, right? We're not putting them out there in the real world and know that they're gonna fail. You know, I tell my kids all the time, listen, you know, shit happens, you got to get right back up. You know what I mean? We got to fight. You know what I mean? The easiest thing to do in this world is quit. You know, I ran my softball team for 15 plus years. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But you know what you're going to get with me? You're going to get the truth. Man, this is how we doing it. If you don't like how I run my shit, go play somewhere else. It's not a big deal. And for, like I said, for 15 plus years, I've had my team. So I think I'm doing all right.
I think that everybody hit the nail on the head, and we all come back to the same thing. We as parents or as mentors or coaches or whatever, we see the wrong happening from a distance because we grew up with a different mindset, right? When we fell down and scraped the shit out of our knee, and Sally could tell you, I've broken every bone from the time I was like 4.
I was Mr. Glass.
Yo, everything. But these parents today don't allow their kids to do that. So something I always told my kids when they started getting of age and understanding was, you think I'm an asshole, right? I love you. When you get out into the world, those people don't love you. Imagine how they're going to be. So this is the reality. You have to allow them to absorb these things and go through them so they know how to respond. Because when they're at work and mommy and daddy's not there and they get into some shit, they don't know how to handle themselves. So if you're in the game and the pressure's up, what are you going to do? You're going to sit down the mountain and start crying and sucking your thumb? No. You got to be able to handle the pressures and the adversity. And the way you do that is being allowed to fall and fail, to learn. Anybody who's fucking got their parents doing the shit that Frankie was talking about, dude, you're not going to be worth shit. You have to go through trials and tribulations in order to grow and to become a great player, right? So you got a mediocre player who's semi-talented, amazing work ethic. You have a guy who's super talented. This guy, for all intents and purposes, could surpass the talented guy because he has a strong work ethic. Who do you want? The naturally talented guy that's just like, yeah, whatever, boop. Or this guy that's talented, but he busts his ass. It's the difference. Yeah. These kids don't know about that.
Yeah, and parents are a little unrealistic. My big thing with my parents, and this is why I feel my parents love me, is the parents of my baseball team. I feel like I give it to them straight. I'm like, for 1 second, watch a game, pick out the best player on that field and see where your son or daughter stands up, matches up against them. Because if that guy's being the one that's like being sought after and you're far from that, then you shouldn't, like Louis said, you're not ready to go to those big showcases or those college camps. You're not. And that's what I tell my parents, man, just watch. Just watch.
That's good advice. Did you guys watch Once Upon a Time in Flushing, Queens, whatever, the Mets documentary, the 30 for 30?
No,
not yet. No? Okay. All right. I wanted to see. You watched it, Louis?
Yeah, man.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about that party scenes they had.
Oh, yeah. The dude that I thought was pretty much running that team was the guy that I thought that it comes out. I knew Hernandez was the man on that team.
Yeah. He was Tony Montana.
Yeah.
So we spoke about Ohtani. Louis, I know, you being a Blue Jays fan, ex-player, not a Blue Jays fan, but ex-player. Do you think Vlad's the MVP or Ohtani's the MVP?
Oof. See, it's tough for me, man, because I'm probably going to go with the position player just because he's been out there every day on the field. Yes, don't get me wrong. I mean, we never seen nothing with Ohtani. You're doing superstar stuff on both levels, but he was DHing. You're talking about this boy playing first base every day. He was up for the Triple Crown, putting up numbers and that's another thing. Look, he's a power hitter, but he's still hitting for average. We talk about hitting line to line, guy putting the ball in play. That whole lineup, it was a pleasure watching that lineup, seeing the guys put the ball in play. And when they knew when they could try and jerk one out, they would. But they did that situational hitting. They did all that stuff. But maybe I'm biased, but yeah, I thought Vlad should be the MVP.
What do you think, Frank?
Listen, I think Ohtani showed us something that has never been seen before. But now, towards the end of the season, he wasn't able to pitch as much. and they actually shut him down from pitching. So, like Louis said, that guy that's on the field grinding every day should get not only the benefit of the doubt, the most votes, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of like Ohtani, like through the midsummer, like, man, this guy's incredible. The things he's doing, like you said. But what Vlad did, and for how old he is, and one game from the wild card, like, to me, I think he has to like get the MVP, in my opinion. I mean, maybe they won't give it to him; they'll give it to Ohtani. What was that, Louis?
Those are tough at bats. He's playing for playoff purposes, and not to get, not to knock off, Ohtani, but you're playing teams that weren't really in the playoffs. Okay, you grinded against Seattle, but then you're playing other teams that are already out of it. It's not the same. I don't know. Maybe like I said, I'm biased, maybe, but yeah, I think it was Vlad, man.
You know where Ohtani lost me? When they shut him down. He didn't pitch no more. I was like, exactly. All right, that's it. So,
yep.
Are we all in agreement with that? Mr. A's like, I don't know what the fuck happened there.
No, I don't want to. This is the one I'll stay out of.
Yeah. He's like, Ohtani, who the fuck is that guy? Vlad.
Sounds like
Vlad is the Russian guy? Like, what's going on here?
Vlad the Impaler, like wrestler? Who's this guy?
So, all right, we talked briefly Yankees. Let's get into.
Check this out, son. All they can do in the perfect world, like Harold Reynolds was saying, why don't they give them co-MVPs?
Can't do that.
Yeah.
That's like a participation trophy, Louis. We just talked about that shit, man.
Exactly.
Second place is the first loser.
Exactly.
That's how we grew up. So
yeah.
All right, we talked briefly Yankees. I want to run through the Yankees real quick, and we'll talk Mets, and then we'll go into like predictions. What does the future hold for the Yankees? What do you guys think the Yankees have to do?
They need a catcher. Let me see. They need a catcher.
Clean house.
I think they need to package something up to bring in another pitcher and possibly a catcher, and then go from there, because they're pretty set on the offense, be it inconsistent or not. Those are the guys you want in those situations, those big guys. But there's a little. I still think Torres is still a little messed up over here from being taken out of short and then put to second and then chirping because he didn't run, all that stuff. And then Sanchez is he checked out. Yeah. He's checked out. So you got to package one of those two kids, either both of them, or something has to be done soon. And I think it's just catcher and pitching are the two important positions they need to fix, and shortstop, because everybody's gone. So
and center field.
Those three. Well, you have Hicks returning. He's gonna get the shot. He had the big contract. So we'll see.
Got it, Lou.
Like I said, and I think Torres will be good at second. Leave him there. I definitely would try to package a deal with. You get Voit and Sanchez. I might even try to trade him to the Cubs and bring in Contreras. I bring him to catch. I go and get a shortstop, either Correa or Baez. We already know Baez can handle New York. We already know he can handle New York, and put him at short. Now, if the Mets let him go, that's a stupid move on their part, because he's the one that's taking the pressure off Lindor. And we already know he can handle New York.
Right.
So those are and besides the pitching too, Frank, they need some startings, man. They need something. They need some starting help. Now they know Severino's back. Are you going to bring him in, or are you going to leave him in the pen? Are you going to start him again? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. Herman, is he going to be there to be able to do something? But you got to get some starting pitching, man. I think the dude Cortez earned his spot. He can be a fourth or fifth starter. Leave him right there. And that dude's. I
tell you what, he got guts. He got guts. That guy, man.
He's creative.
I mean, again, we talked about it earlier. The swing and misses is too much swing and misses. And you said pitch selection, Frank. You mentioned that earlier. Gary Sanchez has got to be one of the worst guys for pitch selection you ever watch. He'll take two pitches down the middle and swing at a pitch in the other batter's box for strike three. I think Yeah, it drives me nuts, dude. It drives me nuts watching him.
Wait, so can I ask you a question? And even the guys in the room, don't you think it's time Sanchez got his papers though? Like how long? I think it's been like 5 seasons already that I hear Selly, this guy, they gotta fucking get rid of him. Like let's pull the trigger. You know, is he gonna adjust? Is he gonna come back?
Gary Sanchez, and I talked to my friend earlier about this. Gary Sanchez and Dylan and those guys, some of those guys, like even judging them, they had some of their best years with Girardi because Girardi took no bullshit from them and kicked them in their ass. I think Boone is too laid back, too much of a friend. You know what I mean? Like you gotta kick these guys in the ass, especially like a guy like Sanchez. You gotta get him going all the time, and he hasn't put up those numbers since Boone because he's like, whatever, I don't care, whatever you guys want to do. And he's winning arbitration. He's getting his money. You know, what are you gonna do when you pay that guy? And I always said that. What do you do when you pay him if he's lazy now?
Then he leaves and hits 350. Watch.
Well, that's everybody.
I'm calling it.
That's everybody. You're right.
Under the right person, like he's alluding, he's saying it. You know, this guy used to get in, Girardi used to get in his ass, and now Boone is going soft on him. Watch him leave, go to another team and hit fucking 350 and come and, you know, get 3 home runs off the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking sad.
And there's rumblings of Cashman. How do you guys feel about Cashman? Do you think he should be gone, or you know? I mean, I'm not one to anybody should lose their job, but people are saying that Cashman should be gone, and I'm like, how? If we've been in the playoff like 23 years out of like 25.
No, I don't think he should be gone. I just think there's a couple moves he needs to make and pull the trigger. Can't be falling in love with certain players, man. If they ain't producing, you know, that's a game of. We're called entertainers on our passports, so we got to entertain the crowd. We got to produce. If not, then it's the next man up. You know, the other guy I thought that really changed that lineup, that I think that they better sign back, is Rizzo. You got that dude in the lineup. He's a professional hitter. He grinds out at bats. He really doesn't strike out that much. You know, and he's a lefty. I think in that park he'll hit 40 bombs.
Yeah. I think Cashman definitely should stay. I think what he's done a really good job of is managing the injuries. There's so many things like, you know, there's so many guys in your prospects that you want to bring up, and then no, I'm not ready to bring him up, and then an injury occurs, and then you're like, is he ready? Well, he's got to be ready now, and boom. So he's been managing that well. And you know, when he had to make decisions at the deadline, he makes some good decisions. Like they didn't pan out, but you did get the best players out there when not having to shell out the most money. So, you know, from the business side, he's definitely always there, you know, at the top of most GMs. It's not because he's a Yankee guy, but whatever. He's involved in a lot of good decisions that, you know, injuries force you to make decisions. And, you know, he hasn't been like the one Stanton aside, and Stanton even has come to life, you know, the last 2-3 years. You know, he hasn't been the guy that's made that one big break in the bank move and then not work out. You know, so who knows?
I agree. I agree with that, Frank. I definitely agree with what you said there. Also, I think Cashman has done a great job. Like every year we're in the playoffs, we're in the hunt. And I was disgusted. I didn't want to watch them before the deadline. And then the moves he made with Rizzo, like you said, Louis, and you know, and then Odor and Gallo and the bullpen, you know, Peralta, you know, certain guys he made, like you know, underrated moves. My only thing with Cashman, and it's been forever, is pitching. For some reason, we can't get pitching with the Yankees, or if we get them, like Cole throws 3 innings, you know. But you know, I'm good with Cashman. I just think that we need a tough manager. I'll bring Showalter back. I don't care. Let him get a chance.
Check this out, Sally. Maybe the pitching didn't want to come because who's catching?
Ooh.
You don't want to throw to that dude.
That's true.
He can't even catch.
Right.
He doesn't call a good.
Right.
You know, and I don't like, you know, dissing other players, but he doesn't call a good game. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right away he wants to go to breaking balls, and dudes are throwing 100. I'm gonna tell you, a hitter hitting 100 well located is hard to do. It's hard to do. You know, in the first inning, you got Cole throwing slider, curveball, changeup, fastball. You show me everything. Okay, I'm 0 for 1, no problem. Now what are you going to get me out with?
Right.
My second and third at bat, if you're still there.
He wasn't. He sure wasn't.
I think as an organization, you guys understand that, you know, the structure always has a way of getting in the way of itself, right? Because there's levels to everything. Most of the times there's a disconnect with the upper echelon of the organization with the guys on the ground. And that creates friction, causes the chemistry to go different ways because the people up top want to interfere too much. I think that Cashman has done his job and done his job well because of the positioning of the team for the last 10 or whatever years. Getting beyond that hump has always been the grind of any team because it's up to the guys on the ground. If he's doing his job, for all intents and purposes, it appears as such, the guys on the ground got to put, you know, the work in to get over the hump of getting out of the playoffs and into the big game, right? As far as a coach, the guy in the dugout, you know, let's fucking resurrect Billy. What's his name? Billy
Martin.
Billy Martin. You know, for me, as a kid growing up, my uncle watching the Yankees and me watching Billy Martin as a kid, and even playing sports with Selly, that was the approach of guys. They were not only passionate about the game, but they were passionate about what you were doing on the fucking field. So like you said, he hit that base hit yesterday, and he's fucking, you know, what do you like? We would get fucking reamed for that. And that, I think, is part of the issue with the Yankees. The other issue is the pitching. Dude, what the fuck are we doing? Like, it's terrible. You know, they need to be able to get pitching. We need solid pitchers because that also plays a huge part in the postseason. Now, if this guy's calling the game and he's doing a shitty job, you gotta get that pitcher out of there. I mean, the catcher, you got to get him out of there. And if they don't make that change, you know, that somebody needs to communicate that to the upper office and make those moves. But Cashman overall, I think, has done an incredible job, and you know, he should be supported.
I mean, they know. They have the analytics, right? They're analytics gurus. They should know. I mean, go get Salvi or go get Contreras, and we're good.
Yeah.
And what about the other side of town? That shitty field over there. Mets, what do you think they need to do, guys?
I don't know. Go ahead.
I think that's the first move you got to do. Got to lock him in because it'll relieve the pressure off Lindor. And then I think you'll see Lindor play a lot better because his boy's there with him.
How much money you giving Baez?
Now, the thing is, you're just going to have to spread it out over more years. But he's also going to have to understand, you know, that you want to be here with your boy, it might have to be at a little bit of a discounted price. Now you want to go get paid, then you go across town to the Yankees and go play short there. So, because their pitching is going to be healthy next year.
I think the Mets have to start with hiring Eduardo Perez, bro. All right, yes. You have Eduardo Perez. His baseball IQ's through the roof. Hall of Fame dad, bilingual in the clubhouse. Like, he's a student of the game, and it starts there. And he's gonna set the culture. Lou, I played with him. We played against him. That kid was all about like how he got better. Yo, Lou, I saw you, man. Yo, your stance was great. Why you change your stance? Like stuff like that. He's like incredible with. So I think it's if they start there with that hire, you know, it'll set the tone, and that might make it easier for Baez to stay. You know, and I just think like on the pitching side of both parts of the city, I think they need more pitchers than flamethrowers. Like like Cortez, man. Like he's down here, he's up here, he's under here. He hangs that leg. Different things, man. If you got to be creative on the mound, you can't. I think one of the things that I had a little success with was I tapped into being a shortstop and being an athlete on the mound, which pitchers are not considered athletes. And I try to do something different, all the time. So, you know, they need pitchers, not flamethrowers.
I mean, Nathan Eovaldi, what did he throw? 99, and he still added some of that to his arsenal. I mean, he was doing the little Louis Tiant stuff and
the little quick pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Mets need to have a sit down with Davey Johnson and get that hex off of them. They broke up. Listen, as an adult, as kids, Sully, we watched that. You guys watched it too. The 86 Mets, that whole team were just dirty uniform guys. They always found a way to get it done. And even in crunch moments, Gary Carter, we're down and he pulls out a 2-run home walk-off and ends the game, against, I think it was the Astros or whoever. They always found a way to get it done. And when they dismantled that team, the magic just went with them completely. All right, you had some petty kings on the team.
I was about to say the magic, the cocaine, everything went with
blue magic.
The
blue magic.
You remember seeing Dow Strawberry in the outfield looking at the foul line, like, but when they broke up that team, that all went out the window. And I think that's a huge, like, to me, it's been like a curse. Like Davey Johnson was like, oh, really? All right, go ahead, cabrón. Like, go find out whoever the Brujas in Spanish Harlem that did the voodoo on them, bro, because they've been with the Cuernos since they broke up that team. It's been that way. What was it? A few years back, they were first place, won the division, and got bumped in the first round. What? Who does that?
How about they were in first place this year and lost, like they came like in last almost, lost the most games out of first, like crazy. But it goes to show baseball is, talent doesn't always win in baseball. It's chemistry has a lot to do with baseball, and you riding for your brothers.
100%. And a lot of times, they talk about, always the fall guy's the manager, man. And I had a feeling they were going to fire Rojas. One, because when you have a new owner coming in, he didn't hire that manager. You got a new GM, you got a new president. They're going to want to bring in their own people. So they're going to clean house. It's going to start with him, unfortunately. But, you look at all the players, and there were a lot of guys that didn't produce, man. The position players. You look at Conforto. Smith was down too. Dominic Smith, he was a little bit down. Then you had Nemo a little bit down. McNeil, same thing. J.D. Davis was hurt the whole time. So, it's tough, man, to try and win like that. But everybody feels like, you got to make a team with all veterans. I don't agree with that. You need some young boys there to keep it fresh, to get that blood flowing.
Energy.
Then they pump it up for us older guys. And, okay, let's go. Yeah. So, you look at the Yankees when they made that run. Look who was winning them games for them. They had to do Allen. They had to do, Velasquez. Same thing, even with the Mets when they brought in other guys too. They were bringing them up from the minor leagues. The guy McKinney, he was going off, hitting home runs, helping them out. It's a combination of everything. You said it correct. Chemistry. My best teams that I played with, there was a mixture of everything. Young dudes in between and the veterans. And we all played together and we're pulling for each other. That's another reason why the Mets were winning in '86. They also were hanging out together. Yeah, they were hanging out. They were going to dinner, whatever. But that's what winning teams do.
Cracking that perico in the dugout. But it means a lot. The camaraderie means something, right?
You know some softball teams that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that chemistry, that speaks to the team in an immense way, because when your guys pick you up when you're down, you're like, yo, this guy just picked me up. I'm fucking like, I'm doing shit, but you know what? I feel I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get a hit. I'm gonna make a play. I'm gonna do something. And the people who understand that can bring the best out of players. And if you have that on a team, everybody's pulling for each other. Everybody's in it. Come on, man.
It happened yesterday with the Red Sox. Cora Bogart's been struggling. J.D. Martinez was out the lineup. He hit him fourth. He ends up hitting a big home run and throws out Judge at the plate. That management of trusting his player and going to be producing in the big spot. I've been struggling, but my manager trusts me to come through right here, and he showed it. Do you guys think A-Rod will ever manage?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Right now, he's the most hated guy in the booth. I can't imagine him on the field, bro.
Right.
What does he bring?
He's very smart. He knows the game, that's for sure.
Smart doesn't mean that you're capable. You guys know, you all know that.
Relationship wise.
Right.
I was just gonna say that he's a guy that he understands that there's 25 different personalities and everybody is different, and you have to understand what you can do with certain guys that you can't talk to with other guys. You know, some dudes we could be old school. Like, I was one of them. You could tell me whatever. And I'll be like, all right, I'm going to show you. You see. You could tell me, oh, you suck. This, that, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to show you, bro. But there's some dudes that you can't do that to.
That's because your dad used to do that shit to you, Lou. Pops used to go nuts.
Oh, man. He was tough. But, I tell him, I said, yo, thank you for being like that. You made me who I am today. And, that's one thing that I've noticed now that I'm on the coaching side. You just got to figure out all the personalities of each guy. And you got to be interested in their lives too, man. It's not just baseball. I mean, I'm talking about the family. Yo, how's the family doing? How the kids doing? How's, everybody's good. The wife, all that stuff. Everything. You got to get involved all the way in. You got to all the way in if you want them dudes to run through the wall for you. And that's what Alex Cora does. You play with him, Frank. You know how he is.
Yeah.
He was a thing like that.
Yep, definitely. He was the guy that was like on you when you did horrible, and he was the first guy to give you high five when you did good. So he's that guy.
Louis, I think it's important you said like me, like I said, I run the softball team, right? Men softball. But I tell guys that all the time for years. I said, I can't treat everyone the same because not everyone's going to respond. This guy's going to respond by me yelling at him. This guy's going to respond by me coming to him like, yo, dude, we don't do that here. Whatever. Everybody's different. You got to be a psychologist to be a fucking coach.
100%. And don't get me wrong. Even my top players, I still get on them. There's a lot of people and a lot of coaches that mess up. They don't get on them top players because they're the top dog. They're doing their job. They're the ones that need it the most so that they can continue to get to that elite level.
I have my cousins on my team. My cousins play with me. Mikey, Frank, Mikey and Louis. I would go crazy on them because Mikey was a stud in this game, right? But I'm going to let everybody know that he could get it. Anybody could get it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think A-Rod does his talent translate into a love for the game that is needed for the guy in the dugout, right? He is definitely a knowledgeable baseball player, definitely knows how to deal with the personalities and can play that political of dealing with the team. But I think there's a certain amount of passion you got to have for the game to be in that spot. You have to be that passionate about it because, again, do I see A-Rod running out of the dugout to challenge a call or to fight for his guys? I don't see that from him. I think he's too much of a pretty guy. And it's not to take away from his talent or his abilities, but for me, I don't think he's built like that. I don't think he should. An assistant, maybe, but coach, I don't think he has what.
I just don't think he would take the pay cut. He makes too much. He got too much bread. He ain't doing that. But
like I said, you got to have a certain amount of love for the game.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Fabricio. I can't really read that. Diaz. They Fabricio. Said Beltran. What about Beltran? Giving Beltran another shot.
Listen, the manager from the Astros got another shot. Like, why not him?
Right.
Cora got another shot. Why not him? I mean, at this point, I honestly, with the Mets, I think Eduardo Perez is a great guy. I mentioned him, but I think you need a guy like a Buck Showalter to come in and completely change the culture of, I don't care how much money you make, this is right and this is wrong. And he's not the Billy Martin, but he's the church mouse Billy Martin. He'll still get in you, he'll still talk to you, right. And and that's what the Mets, I think, feel like they need right now. A guy like that could be good too. So they definitely need to change the culture. And that starts in the clubhouse. Who's going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good call too, Buck Showalter. And I'll tell you what, with Beltran, to touch on that, don't hold me to this, but I think if Aaron Boone ever leaves or they get him up out of there, I think he's waiting for the Yankee job.
I think for some reason I heard today that Boone's contract ends this year. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, he said it. He said it. He
Okay.
in the interview last night. He said he hasn't spoke to anybody. Nobody's spoken to him. Reached out to him. So who knows?
You and your fucking third base coach pack your shit. Fucking Nevin, man.
Wow.
It was close play though. Whatever. It is. That goes either way. It was a perfect relay. But anyway, guys, let's wrap this up. Let's give us some predictions for tonight. Who you got? Mad Dog or you got Wainwright? Speaking of Beltran.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Wainwright, man. His stuff has always been his stuff. He knew who he was from day one. He never tried to be anything else but that. And that's the big thing with pitchers these days. They try to do something that they're not. Quick fun fact, bro. Major league pitchers miss the strike zone by 17 inches, bro. That's the size of a plate. They're missing their spots and the strike zone on average by a full plate this way, full plate this way. Not Wainwright, though. Not him. Not that guy.
And I'm agree with my boy Frank. I agree with the Cardinals, not only because of Wainwright, but who's back there putting their fingers down.
Yeah.
That dude is so intelligent. I don't care who's playing. It's going to be tough, man, because, he knows how to switch it up, too. If you're a good hitter, he switches up. He remembers what he threw you your first at bat. He ain't like some catchers that I know that can't even call two pitches without forgetting what they called. Dude in New York. I think we know what we're talking about. But yeah, man, he with having him back there, I think that's another plus besides Wainwright and his expertise.
Right. I think Muncy's a big loss for the Dodgers, but I think Mad Dog is that's another beast right there, man. That could be like a 1-0 game tonight. Those are two horses on the mound right there. But we hope so. I would like to see a pitcher's duel. And who else you got? Who?
Deli? Another reason why I picked St. Louis is Mad Dog hasn't lost yet in Dodger Blue.
Damn.
Might be tonight.
Might be tonight.
Bro. Brother, you know how baseball is.
Yeah, like A-Rod said last night, today is a different night. That should have been crazy.
Fucking yesterday's price went down for cold. That ain't today's price, motherfucker.
That's true.
Jesus Christ. All right, who you got? So who you got in the World Series?
Oh man, I don't even know. I like the Dodgers, man. They're just a more complete team. St. Louis is definitely making a crazy run. They got Wainwright, and I feel like the Dodgers will just be a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, Dodgers and Boston World Series. Who you got? Tampa.
I'm gonna let Louis pick that one. I don't know about that one. That's just for me. That's up in the air.
I got Tampa, bro. They got a lot of arms and everything. What scares me about Boston is their pen. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up. Last night they did the job, mixing and matching and everything. But you're talking about a 7-game series.
Yeah,
that's tough to do, man. It's tough to do. But these guys, Tampa, they're used to it.
White Sox got a crazy pen. The White Sox got a crazy pen too. I think they could be the dark horse.
They could be.
Yeah.
They could be. I could see Tampa and the White Sox go to get into the World Series. And then on the other side, I just don't
want Houston or Boston. Don't let Houston or Boston win, please.
I don't think Houston. That's another thing with their pitching. National League side, the sleepers, the Brewers. Their pitching is scary. And the thing is, they catch the ball, man. They catch the ball. They got a good catcher, all that stuff, all combination. They got to put the ball in play.
MLB's worst nightmare: Tampa and fucking the Brewers in the World Series.
Oh my god, the ratings, the ratings.
Man,
Oof.
The ratings will dip if those two teams go for the big ring. Really?
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, people, but it'll be good because it'll be like, you know what? It's not the big dogs that spend money. It'll be, you know, like Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA championship. You know, so
yeah.
But yo, gentlemen, man, this was fun. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Let's hope everybody had a good time. If you like what you hear, you know, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's set 6145. Again, brothers, appreciate you giving up your time for us here.
Anytime, brother.
Anytime, man. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, for sure. Sully, we running the track?
Yes, sir. We out of here.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, man. Take it easy.